We had an intern that was just a super addition to our company this summer. And we give her credit every time we talk about our story of person A, person B. So our superstar intern built this for us. This is how it works. Wherever you are in life, whatever age you are, your wealth today is broken into many, many pieces. It's not ever just in one place. It's not just in a safe savings. It's not just in investments. It's not just in real estate. It's not just in your business. It's in all these different areas of your life. So you have your home, your savings, your 401k, pensions, IRAs, Roth, stocks, business assets, and quite likely a lot of other places. But where you begin your pursuit is in wherever you are. If you're just starting, this is a very small pie. If you're halfway through, it's larger. But our goals are the same, whomever we're talking to. During the accumulation phase of life, we want to grow our wealth to as large as we possibly can. Everyone's goal is the same. How do we build as much wealth with what knowledge we have and what abilities we have? But in the future, your money is going to be broken into really two categories. It's going to be in your spendable categories, and it's going to be in your non-spendable category. So we've got two different pieces. So I call this the distribution phase of life. I really don't like to use the word retirement because, quite honestly, I don't believe in the definition of retirement. Retirement is to take one out of service. I mean, really? You work your whole life to be somebody and then you're going to take yourself out of service? I just don't think it's a great idea. So I talk about this as the distribution phase of life. So you've built some assets. Once you get to your distribution phase of life, I want to talk about person A. Person A could be a couple who starts out, they finally got to this age where they're going to say, now we're going to enjoy some of our wealth. Well, what happens most of the time? Well, most of the time, those folks hit that retirement income hard. They're after it. I mean, they are spending it like they are like having the time of their lives. And, you know, we all go through this. I've heard this, I don't know, hundreds of times. People say, you know what? When I get to this age, I'm young enough, I'm healthy enough, I have my dreams and visions that I've put off my whole life. I really want to go enjoy. So they do. They blow through their wealth, but they get out into their mid-70s and they start looking at the wealth that they've blown through. And what happens? They start thinking about, you know what? I didn't think things would cost this much. There's this thing called inflation. There's this thing called devaluation. How about depreciation of the things that they bought? Do you think they're ever going to want a new computer? There's all these things that start coming into play. And then there's these big thoughts like, what are the healthcare costs going to be when I'm another 10 years older? I don't want to be a burden on my family. What about taxation? I mean, really, cost of living keeps going up. And what happens, instead of people enjoying the wealth that they built over their life, they begin to cling to it. They begin to worry about, I don't want to run out, and do I have enough? So person A actually becomes enslaved to trying to hang on to their wealth. The unfortunate story is that person A eventually does hit their expiration date. Everybody's going to. This is not a secret, right? So when that person dies, guess who's all there? The tax man's there, the attorney's there, the creditors are there, the realtors are there, the funeral home is there. Everybody's got their hand out looking for their piece. And unfortunately, the person who was hanging on to this wealth, who intended this money to go to the family, very little actually ends up going to the family. That's a sad story. And if you're thinking right now, well, that isn't going to be me, but are you thinking about somebody that you love that actually that happened to them? That's their life, where they were all of a sudden divested of all their things and it got sliced out, sold and diced and away it went? That's person A. I'd like for our clients to think like person B. This is going to be a great segue into how banking is going to affect your life. But person B is going to live differently. They're actually going to build a plan where they're going to build a distribution system where they're actually going to spend every dollar they have all the way out to age 90. Now you notice that the green and the red turned into yellow. I got a big yellow circle here that covers everything of the spendable and the non-spendable money. Well, why is it yellow? What's the caution? What's wrong with with spending every dime you have and you don't have a dime left at age 90? What's wrong with that? Well, if you're like most folks, they say, well, what if I live to 90 in a day? Well, that would be a problem, wouldn't it? But not if you had a rich auntie. So I always tell this story about the rich auntie. If I had a rich auntie that guaranteed me that whatever I had when I entered this distribution phase, let's use the example, I had a couple $1,000,000 and I was going to spend through that couple $1,000,000, and my rich auntie promised me from her multi-million-dollar family estate that she was going to replace all of the monies that I had when I entered retirement. Well, if I had a rich auntie, and I call that the raft of life, a rich auntie family trust, $2 million. At age 90, she drops in $2 million. If that were the case, do you see where it would change the way that you look at entering your retirement? See, you wouldn't worry about hanging on to those non-spendable assets. You'd actually live them up. You'd use all the equity out of your homes, your cabins, your toys. You would use everything. You'd gift it away. You'd enjoy it. You'd leave your family ownership in everything because you know that you can't run out of money. So I guess the story ends this way. I know that you have a rich auntie, so we're all good, right? Oh, you don't. Okay. So you don't have a rich auntie. Well, this is where we begin talking about a very different concept about how do you build your life around a known certainty. What is it that you absolutely know is going to happen sometime if it didn't already happen by age 90? What's going to happen? You're going to hit your expiration date, right? See, this is where I go to helping people understand the real value of life insurance. But not life insurance as what it's worth for cash, but what it's worth at death. See, life insurance, structured properly, gives you a living value of death benefit. I want you to think about this just for a second. If you knew that you had paid for $2 million of life insurance, and it was the only asset that you had left when you hit 90, do you think that $2 million death benefit would be worth something to somebody? Do you think that maybe somebody would be an investor that would say, hey, look, I'd be willing to give you some money today if you'd assign me on to your $2 million contract? It happens all the time. In fact, banks and insurance companies are the largest owners of executive life insurance. See, they own life insurance on their executives because they know it's a guarantee that that executive someday is going to pass on. And when they do, that death benefit comes back to that corporation tax-free. We have promoted the book, What the Rockefellers Do, to so many of our clients. And it's really this way. When you have a family trust and you want to keep money in the family trust forever and ever, they actually train the next generation to have large life insurance policies on the newest birth into that family. They do that over and over and over, and then they have tax-free dollars come back into the family trust, and the family trust goes on and on and on. You'll love the story if you read the book, What the Rockefellers Do. All right? So here's how the story ends with person B. It generally doesn't end where one person, where a couple lives all the way out to age 90. Many times somebody, unfortunately, dies before age 90. And when that spouse dies, everything that the couple enjoyed together is replaced at that very important time by a death benefit that comes back to the surviving spouse tax-free. It enjoys that, it allows that surviving spouse to continue on in their life just as if they had intended financially to continue to gift and to enjoy and to help the grandkids and the great-grandkids. It helps them live out a life that they truly wanted to have together. So I hope this story helps you out with understanding the value of long-term permanent life insurance in your world. It's a very different look, but we're going to take you to the next steps to try to help you understand about banking and about insurance and about estate planning and how all this fits together. Looking forward to the next segment. Thank you.